So only the Merseyside derby gives us more red cards than Manchester United versus Liverpool. It is a fierce rivalry. I'm absolutely buzzing for this game. Let's talk some tactics. So, I mean, when you're playing Manchester United versus Liverpool, there's so much history behind this. Even in recent events, we had the Suarez versus Evra scenario. We have just Alex Ferguson constantly reiterating that he loves to beat Liverpool. If you're watching after the game, make sure to check the comments and the links for the goals below. But otherwise, stick around and see if my predictions are right. I've not been getting too many right these days, but let's see what happens. So let's look at how both teams faced up against each other and how they have been facing up against each other. In terms of goals scored, Manchester United scored more goals than Liverpool, but it is interesting they scored their first goal around the same time. But here's a big difference. Liverpool, 17 goals inside the box, only 2 scored from outside. And as we know, Manchester United can let them rip from distance. We have players in there like Juan Mata, who can definitely get in there and score goals from outside the box. And it is going to be a worrying factor because Liverpool did concede a goal against Basel outside the box due to their poor defending, which I'll touch on again in a little bit. And if you look at the next graphic, this is their recent form. And this is a big difference. Manchester United have won their last 5 games. And they're not easy opponents in there. Away to Arsenal and away to Southampton are 2 games that many people would have thought United at the start of the season, including Balotelli, when he laughed at Manchester United for losing to Leicester, would have stated that they wouldn't expect them to win these games. But United have bounced back. Many people laughed at me when I predicted that they would be champions, and I think that is still a bit bold, but they're definitely going to be in the running. They just need to sharpen up that defence, which is a crucial point. So there you go, 5 games have won, and Liverpool, as we know, in a poor run of form at the moment. And they'll be, I can't say that they're human. They're going to be disheartened by not qualifying for the next round of the Champions League. Guys like Gerrard will be able to bounce back, their experience, but we'll see how the full team bounces back. But let's talk about Manchester United first. Let's look at the lineup they used against Southampton. So what we must point out straight away is that they suffered an injury early on. Smalling's fitness is still being tested, so we don't know if he'll be back. But Van Gaal changed things around. He brought on Johnny Evans, which for me is a last resort always, but he did okay, I guess, in that game. But then he changed it up again, and he took off McNair and put Carrick into centre-back. So if you look here, this is what happens when you move Carrick out, and this was a big problem. It's going to be something that Van Gaal has to figure out whether he wants to go with this 3-5-2. When your keeper distributes the ball out to this area and tries to play from the back, which most teams in the Premier League do, you need someone to sit in this hole. Someone right here. And that is Michael Carrick's forte. So when you put Carrick into a centre-back position, he then picks the ball up here. And Manchester United don't have a defensive-minded midfielder that can pick up there. They tried it with Herrera, they tried it with Fellaini, and they gave away the ball so many times against Southampton. They were lucky that Southampton did not punish them. So when you play in these areas, your 2 centre-backs go wide. If you lose the ball, look at these gaps. And this is what Southampton should have exploited more, because Fellaini is not the best at picking the ball up with his back to goal, and he gives it away as Southampton counter-attacked once and they got the goal. So if you're going to play Michael Carrick in centre-back, which I don't think he'll do, I think he'll reshuffle things, maybe Evans, Rojo, and if Smalling's back, maybe McNair will go with it. But if Van Gaal insists on going with this 3-5-2, he needs to have someone who can sit up here and link the ball to try and find the balls to go out wide, because this man is essential if you're playing 3-5-2 to spread the play. But then there's going to be changes that are going to happen because Di Maria is said to make his return to the team. So Wayne Rooney and Van Persie, as we know, are doing very well together. Ashley Young's doing a good job at doing this sort of wing-back role, getting up and down. I wouldn't change him. And then you've got Herrera, who for me would be the man to go, because I think he's been okay. But if you're going to play Carrick, I would play Carrick, Fellaini, in that role. Whether Carrick goes to centre-back, we don't know. But for Herrera, I don't think it's cut it for me to go into the starting 11 if you've got a fit Di Maria and a fit Juan Mata. And this is going to lead on to Liverpool's poor defender. I'm going to link both of them. And I know, you can thank me later. So I'm going to link both of them because Liverpool's goal they conceded against FC Basel was right here. The gap that they leave between their defensive centre midfielders and their centre-backs is diabolical at times, because they played a 3-5-2 against FC Basel. And what happened is Lucas, Gerrard and Henderson all get caught in this area trying to make their runs back when this space was open. And when you've got Lovren and Skrtel, who are absolutely on completely different pages. Skrtel is reading the first Harry Potter book and Lovren's already finished the... don't know what the last book's name is. It was a good comparison in my mind. But whatever, we'll go with it. They're on completely different pages because they... there's a Ferrari who played for Basel, good player, yes, picked the ball up right here. And not one of them stepped because they were worried about this centre forward. And what happened was a nice little 1-2, bang, bang. The ball came to here and Fry put it in the bottom corner. And I don't think that they can allow that to happen against Man United, because if they're going to play this one guy, Juan Mata. Out of 5 shots this season, he scored 4. And 2 of them are coming outside of the box. He's so talented. So if they play Mata in there, or even Rooney, they're going to get punished if they leave this gap untouched, should I say. So, I mean, it's another question about what can Brendan Rodgers do, because they need to get goals. They went with a 4-5-1 against FC Basel, which for me was ridiculous. You're trying to get into the next round of the Champions League. Why are you going with that defensive-minded approach? But then you think to yourself, who have they got to play up top for 4-4-2? Because Balotelli is absolutely not firing on all cylinders. Sturridge, they need him back, but he's not come back. Ricky Lambert, kind of poor. Markovic comes on and gets sent off. So I feel for the guy, because he's going to get all the pressure, but he's playing a 4-5-1. I think he should have still went with somewhat of a 4-4-2, even put Sterling up top to run the defence. But against Man United, this would be a safe formation, I think, to play. So they went with a 4-5-1, but quickly changed things in the second half, and off came Lambert, and then Markovic come on, who then gets sent off. And then how does it happen when your player comes off that your formation starts to take more shape? I don't understand it. That's something that has to be questioned about Liverpool's work rate, where they left it very late, and after Steven Gerrard put in the ball in the top corner, they only started to believe that they could go forward. And then you get guys like Henderson who makes a run in the box. But as I stated, if you're going to go against Manchester United in Old Trafford in this form, if they go with this formation here, a 4-5-1, which they could do, they're not scoring goals as it is. They need to have these wingers pushing forward and getting balls in the box, because Man United are not safe at defending cross balls. They get a lot of numbers back, United, but loose balls in the box is not their forte for clearing. They've been doing it horribly, specifically against Southampton, as you've seen. So if they do that, they're going to leave 3 players in the midfield, and we know that Gerrard's starting to push a little higher up. So then you've got Henderson and Lucas. Henderson and Lucas should not be moving past here if they're going to play against a Man United team who are good at exploiting that hole. But Henderson just wanders up the field, and he's pretty good at going forward. But if they leave that isolated area, they're going to go 1-0 down or 2-0 down, and it'll be hard for them to come back, especially with their defensive back 4, who is pretty shambolic at the moment, and they don't know who's going to be playing there. So I worry a little bit for them. If it was me, I would go with this 4-2-3-1 formation that they kind of are starting to get a little bit of form on, and just have Henderson and Lucas sit as anchors in that hole. Even maybe put Lucas even further back as a sort of a 5-man defence, and have him just sit right here and pick up your Matas and your Rooneys, your Di Marias if they drop into that hole. It's going to be an interesting game. My prediction is a 1-0 victory for Manchester United at home. I think they'll get a goal in there. Van Persie's got an amazing run against Liverpool in terms of how many goals he's scored. So we'll see whether that can continue. Don't forget to subscribe to TYT Sports. Let us know your comments in the game in the section below. Subscribe again to TYT Sports. I think I already said that. But follow us on Twitter at @Francis_Maxwell and @TYT Sports.